Hello there, I hope you're all doing well. I thought it would be nice to make a review of my team Kronos since I actually had it for a whole year now. I want to share the experiences I had with it for the last year, bashing, crashing, wrenching, repairing, upgrading and modding. Before I begin this review, I want to say that I'm not any kind of pro basher or pro reviewer of any kind. I'm really just a guy who likes RCs, especially cars. I also want to say that these are my own experiences and my own opinions of the Kronos. They might not necessarily correspond with your experiences or opinions of the Kronos or any other of the Team Corelli bashers. At last, English is not my main language, so if you hear some strange pronunciations in here somewhere, well, you know why. So, first, a little history on how it started with the Team Corelli bashers from my point of view, and how I ended up buying a Team Corelli Kronos. Well, me and my son been bashing and crashing RCs for a long time, mostly Traxxas, electric and nitro. He grew tired of his e-Revo years ago and brought home a Kraton V2. Well, I kind of hooked on to that, and since then there's been a bunch of Armas. A couple of years later, by fall of 2019, I was ready to buy a new car again, and happened to browse a Facebook group in which I found a pic of a really cool looking buggy, the Python. Wow, that was a mean looking buggy for sure, and well, I thought maybe I should just get that one, but I didn't really want to switch brands again or buy a car that a year later I would have to order parts from some eBay guy somewhere. I had heard of Team Corelli before but never connected them with any bashers, so I checked their site out. All seemed very nice, located in Belgium, and since I'm also in Europe I was thinking perfect. So I posted the Python pic in another group only to find out it's already been posted by another guy. Well, long story short, that's how I connected with Per Öberg, a Swedish guy that lives in the UK. I also sent the same pic to another online buddy, Marcus Philip, that lives in Austria, that I connected with before due to some common interests like RC cars and 3D printing. He was also looking for something new or wanted to try something new. So, a couple of weeks later, Per Öberg started a Facebook group called Team Corelli Owners UK. Of course, because of interest in these new cars, but also since there were not really an English language fan group available. Per is also a helping kind of guy, and the group would be a place to share your cars, but also act as a support group for owners and would-be buyers. I joined the group in late October 2019, and Marcus did as well. In the beginning, we really just discussed the releases of the cars and when they were going to be released. Where were the other two? We had the Python revealed already, and shortly thereafter the Kronos. I was going to buy the buggy, but after seeing the Kronos, wow! Seeing that truck in the web shop with the description like Kronos 6S monster truck, dominate the field. If you're looking for the toughest, roughest and baddest machine on the planet, get the Kronos monster truck in your hands. Right there it was decided that I was going to buy a Kronos. Me, Per and Marcus were kind of the same thinking. The Kronos was the one to get first, then start to think about the buggy and check out the other two that were supposed to come. Meantime, the membership count started to rise in the group, and actually people from the Corelli company also joined. That felt pretty cool, and suddenly we had someone to ask questions to directly in the group, especially about the release of the cars. The wait continued, and as the webshop was building up with parts, we got access to the manuals and specs, saw some German YouTube vid of a Kronos unboxing, and anticipation got even higher. We read that the cars had gotten delayed somehow along with the revealing of the last two cars in the basher line. Anyway, by the end of November, at last, the cars were on its way, but the shipment had now gotten delayed again somehow. A few days later, we get word from within the group that the shipment was really about to arrive any day, but was probably going to hit the UK first, due to some logistics problems or something. I know Pat had pre-ordered his, and although I was planning to buy mine directly from Corral, Belgium, I didn't want to take the chance of not receiving it before Christmas. So I ordered mine on December 9th from the UK as well, from Model Sports UK. Pat received his Kronos in the beginning of December 2019 and shortly thereafter did a live unbox. I received mine on the 14th and did an unbox vid that same evening. Just a couple of days later, the shipment finally arrived, or got released as rumored, to the Belgian warehouse, and Marcus Phillip got his Kronos as well. So the unbox, I didn't really want to make an unbox video because of a couple of things, but also I thought it would be fun to share my new basher with the group. I never done an unbox video before, and I'm not really comfortable with doing vids in when I speak English. I thought about doing one in Swedish, but it would kind of leave me with a very limited audience, so I went for it. Late evening and unbox. Opening that box for the first time, it was magic. Although I've only been waiting for a few months, it kind of felt like I had waited forever. I wasn't really prepared to make an unbox. If I would have been smarter, I would have prepared what to say and all that, but it wouldn't be any fun, I guess. Now, my expectations of this basher truck was really high. It had been designed and produced by a company that had 30 years plus experience in the business. I had chosen this truck and just paid the same amount for this as basically as a Kraton V4. I was aware of I was buying a version 1, and anything version 1 would be a chance, but since this came from a reputable company, like I said, I was kind of expecting the perfect basher. My first feeling was wow, and I immediately felt that it was somehow delicate. I really liked the finish of the towers and the chassis and everything like that, and it felt pretty nice. But I also noticed the layout of the drivetrain everything was moved a bit forward and it was off to the side, and I wasn't really expecting that, but I didn't pay much attention to it, I guess, in the unbox video. So I spent the next day checking through everything and also correcting a big thing in my opinion. The car came with grease in the diff cups. I knew about this beforehand through info from Per in the group, so I took it apart, and sure enough, some green lithium grease in all 3 cups and some blue grease on the outside in the diff housings for the front and rear diffs on the inputs and crowns. So I quickly changed that out to some silicone grease and decided to make a post of it in the group. At first I really thought this was a mistake, since the manual clearly states differential maintenance. It may be necessary to replace the silicone oil every 50 runs. At the same time, I thought it would be great info for the new owners of the Kronos, or maybe the other cars as well. I didn't know that at the time. But I really thought it was some kind of mistake, so I made the post, and my post kind of took an opposite turning from what I was thinking, and the comments from the Corral people was more like, well, we did it that way because grease is superior to any silicone oil. And the discussions with that went back and forth for a while, and the counter question from my side was kind of like, okay, well, if your grease is superior to a silicone oil, then how do I tune my diffs? Are there greases of different viscosity that I need to use or something? The grease, finally Corelli had listened to all the posts and everything, and all the numerous posts that had been done in the group, and the late V1s are actually shipped with silicone oil instead of grease, and also the V2s, of course. Another thing I noticed was that although the parts, the diffs, the composite cups, the gears, they felt really nice in quality, the cups did not have any steel inserts for the crossbars. That to me didn't seem like a very durable thing in the long run, to have the shims and the crossbars right up against the composite like that. I posted that a couple of times, but no one really listened to that, so I kind of meant well that the composite cups are nice quality, so why don't you just add some metal inserts and they're gonna be a lot better. So the metal crossbars that I suggested so many times never became a reality. Really, I thought Corelli would start to listen when people started melting cups, but the solution was instead an optional 70-75 aluminum cup, and later on a split alloy cup for the V2s. Now, alloy cups are great, but they also generate heat, and that heat needs somewhere to go. Since the motor mount has a composite insert and the front diff mounts are composite as well, the heat really does not have anywhere to go. There's a chance the mount melts by the bearings. I seen some solutions for that. Per Urberg had done an alloy front diff mount so that his 70-75 cup can transfer some heat down into the chassis. That's a really nice mod right there. But I've kept my composite cups, and they have worked really well. I know a lot of you guys know how fast a Kronos and the rest of the bashers can be on 4S. So why is that? Why is it so fast on 4S? I really don't want to compare to a Kraton, but that's what I'm used to for the last few years. So I'm easily doing that, comparing. The Kraton 6S is a bit mild out of the box in my opinion. All I usually do is to switch out the pinion for a bit larger one, and away I go. In comparison, a Kraton uses 10-tooth input gears front back, along with 43-tooth crown gears and a 50-tooth spur. Now, my Kronos came with 13-tooth inputs, 43-tooth crown gears and a 46-tooth spur, which left me with a very different gear ratio to what I'm used to. Now, since my Kronos also came with a 13-tooth pinion, it didn't leave much room for tuning. All I could do was go down in size on the pinion, but the smallest one is kind of 11, so, well, I was kind of stuck with what I had. I didn't think that much about it, and I was happy with it, how it ran on 4S. Thinking back how it ran on 6S and my opinion of it, it's all very different how speed is perceived. I don't usually run in very large spaces and all that stuff, and I guess if you have an enormous field, you might perceive 6S as okay, but for my taste it was simply too much. And I was actually starting to think if I actually had bought a 4S basher instead of a 6S basher, although I knew that the rebranded Max 8 DSC was capable of 6S, of course, and so was the motor.